The accusations of Potential Man have never been more realized in this community than after this cinematic, and I just wanted to talk about it because it's been a few days and I've been really reminiscing on it afterwards. So I know a lot of people, especially Doom players, they just can't come back from this, honestly. And I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, Doomfist is going to come back. It's a part of the story. He's not dead," and everything relating to that, right? But that doesn't really matter. The entire aura of this character was simultaneously destroyed within like basically 2 minutes, okay? This man is canonically a man who literally punched his way out of a jail cell and 1v3'd prime Overwatch strike team. Now, I know this probably isn't the strongest strike team, but presumably it was at the time, because why would they send a bunch of rookies to take down one of the most dangerous, like, operatives in the Overwatch universe at that time? Like, it doesn't really make any sense for them to not send in their best in that moment, which was Genji, Tracer, and Winston. Most presumably, all these characters are incredibly fast, so they obviously thought that Doomfist may be extremely strong, but he's weak to mobility, but it's clearly shown in the trailer that he's not. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent over small little things, right? But the problem I have, and I know a lot of people are going to say that this isn't an issue and everything like that, but it really is, because they're just, and like the other thing is, a lot of people are going to say that the people who are complaining about this are sexist and everything. Now, I can guarantee you there's probably like 1 to 2 people that are like that, but that's like the vast minority of the actual people who actually have a problem with Vendetta winning against. And it isn't even the fact that Vendetta won against Doomfist. The problem I have with it, and what I've seen a large majority of people have with it, right, is that Vendetta effectively engaged fucking plot armor to effectively win against Doomfist, because like as soon as she gets hit by a fist that can guarantee probably fucking punch through multiple slabs of concrete, right, that should have knocked the fucking wind out of her, right? She just immediately starts getting flashbacks, and as soon as you see a character start getting flashbacks in the middle of the fight, you know it's fucking over for the other person. Like, they just fucking lose. Like, it's just so Jover. The other problem I have with this, right, is they were setting up in the comics of like, oh, Max is going to betray Doomfist and all this other thing, right? I just feel like Doomfist just canonically should not have lost to her in any way. I mean, he fought Malga to a standstill, and you may say, oh, he was being like arrogant and he was underestimating her, and sure, that can explain why she got a bunch of shots in him, but he just, due to sheer power and just skill alone, he should have eventually beaten her due to sheer nutrition, honestly. What I'm really disappointed with is that they didn't connect this back to the whole like comic thing. It would have made much more sense for, let's say, Max, right, to maybe hack into the system or give Vendetta some kind of device that allows her to outsmart Doomfist, or trick him in some way that allows her to win the fight, that basically shows and builds upon the idea that she is a ruthless character that outsmarts and outwits and is willing to go to the ends of the earth to hunt down who she thinks wronged her, to prove a point, to show that she has basically a vendetta against them, right? That'd make much more sense. But the only thing I really got from this like trailer is that effectively she was big mad, she killed everyone, made an alliance with Max, which I guess worked somehow, like he keeps funding her or something, right? And she basically just 1v1'd Doomfist and then threw him out a window, and like 5 months later he's gonna come back with a vengeance or something with the other additional characters. Because I just saw that there was an update that if I'm not mistaken, Moira, Sombra, and Widowmaker left Talon. I'm not sure if Moira did. I only glanced a little bit at the details of that, but effectively half of her council of the Overwatch characters that we know that are affiliated with Talon are basically gone. So other than her getting the organization, I don't really feel like anything major, at least in the story wise. Like, things are definitely going to happen in the story and everything, right? But it feels like a lot of conflict just isn't there, because it feels, at least from my point of view, very predictable what's going to happen. Is that Overwatch is going to win a few battles and Talon's going to win a majority. Talon's going to be on the back foot somehow. And then basically at the critical moment, Doomfist is going to return somehow, right? And he's either going to be aided or abetted by Reaper, Widow, Somber, or something like that, right? And then they're going to come and dethrone Vendetta somehow. And then Vendetta is going to go on her revenge arc, and the story will branch off from there, right? But the other problem I have with this entire thing is this is an entirely separate issue, but they just, like, I don't know what it is, but they have like a fetish or something to just humiliate every serious character in this game. And I can't describe it. And I know you may think, oh, I'm kind of over exaggerating with this, right? And I can understand that, right? But it just really rubbed me the wrong way how in this trailer, at the end of the spotlight, right? Ramattra is basically being made fun of as this like super seized character, and then he becomes lovey-dovey or whatever over the new skins or whatever, right? It just feels like they took the aura of the coolest character slash villain in Overwatch, right? Took him, fucking threw him out the window. And then obviously, because I know they weren't planning this, obviously, because of how the development of Overwatch happened and everything. But Ram quietly gets thrown in the corner, effectively, that they'll use him eventually for maybe a potentially PvE mission randomly down the line when they want to surprise the community, right? But he gets thrown in the corner. And then because he's supposed to be a serious character for the time being, they basically just make him into a joke or into a character that they can just constantly just promote stuff with or whatever, while basically just making fun of him, because it's funny when the serious character is like cutesy or gets made fun of in some capacity. They started to do this with Hanzo too, I've realized, but not so as much. But I definitely am seeing a connection with Ramattra, and definitely now with Doom. So I'm hoping that they can correct a few of these things. It's mainly just like how they treat the characters rather than anything, you know? Because they are going in a more story direction, and I am actually pretty happy that they're going in a story direction. Like, don't get me wrong, like all this stuff isn't bad, right? Like, I do like the content. I just want them to treat the characters a lot better, you know? And generally have them more characterized. Because I think the community has because we haven't had consistent lore for a large majority of these characters, right? The community has like a consistent kind of headcanon for how these characters should behave and how these characters generally are and everything. And I think whenever that headcanon kind of gets broken, you know, it just feels really disheartening to the community, especially with like power scaling. I know technically any character can beat any character given the right scenario and everything like that, right? But at least from as far as we know, most people canonically believe Doomfist is the most powerful or one of the most powerful characters in the entire lore next to Sigma, right? Just because Sigma has gravity powers and be unhinged and insane. And we don't know the full extent of Sigma's, like, gravitation. But now after the whole Vendetta thing, that little lore drop that Malga fought Doomfist to a standstill until they grew mutual respect for each other, I kind of question just how cool slash like strong Malga actually is, because if Vendetta of all people were able to basically just show up and fucking yeet him out a window, like, it really detracts from how cool Malga is too. Like, a large majority of the cool feats, you know, or whatever, just really feel detracted. Like the same thing for Winston and how Winston beat Doomfist. A lot of that aura is just gone now because of that. But those are just my thoughts on Fraudwatch and Doomfist, and I feel bad for the Doomfist community. Like, they are not recovering from this. Like, this is like a Zaza moment, but for the fucking, like, Doomfist community. Like, they're not it's gonna be 40 years till they recover from this. Like, they fucking sent him back 50 years in the past. Fuck the unbelief. And you wanna know the fuck thing is? They killed him on Black History Month. That's even more fucked. Anyways, these are just my general thoughts on the entire thing. Hopefully, I'm not too schizophrenic and crazy about like how they treat these characters, and if I am, just let me know, okay? These are just some wild thoughts. See ya.